All right, YouTube Axis and Allies brethren, welcome back to turret number 2 in Wake Forest, North Carolina for this 42.2 version variant game between No Limit as the Axis, boo, and me as the good guys, the Allies. So for this turn, I am doing, this is UK's first turn, first round turn. They go third in the order of this game. For their purchases, they will be for their production. Everybody's got me on purchases. For their production, they will be producing 2 destroyers and 2 transports. They will have 1 IPC left over to spend next turn. They spent 30. They had 31. They spent 30, and so they'll have 1 left over to spend next turn. All right. So for the battles in this for this turn, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like 6 battles. We're going to have in Karelia, we're going to have a battleship, transport, and cruiser. We're going to move 2 sea spaces from Sea Zone 7 to Sea Zone 4. They'll be bringing with them an artillery and an infantry. And they'll be bombarding and going up against 6 tanks and 2 artillery units. So we're going to try to take out as many units there as we can to help rush out. All right, so for number 2, we're going to have 1 lone fighter leave Britain and fly over to Sea Zone 5 and destroy that lone transport there. In Sea Zone 8, we're going to have this destroyer come down and go up against this battleship, this German battleship and submarine, along with this bomber and 1 more fighter from the UK. So let's get that chip out of there. So that's what we'll have in that battle. Down here in Sea Zone 17, this fighter from Gibraltar is going to fly 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and auto kill the transport in Sea Zone 17. It'll have to land in Transjordan, so I'll go ahead and do that. The fighter up here will just return back to the UK. So we'll just drop that back down there and get this transport out of the way. Take care of these 2 transport auto kills. All right, so down here in the Indian Ocean, we're going to have this battleship and this transport take 1 infantry and 1 artillery over to French Indochina. Joining that battle will be 2 infantry units and 1 fighter. The fighter will have 3 movements left in its fuel gauge. Yes. Oh, and the fighter here will have 3 movements left in its fuel gauge as well. Fighter up here in Sea Zone 8. Sorry about that, No Limit. And let me get the 3 turn right. The bomber will have 5 spaces left in its fuel gauge. I don't think I've got a 5. I don't have a 5, so I'm going to put a 4 and a 1. Put a 4 and a 1 there. So the bomber has 5 spaces left in its fuel gauge. All right, so let me get the board set up and we'll commence with battle number 1. Quick correction, I have decided against attacking Karelia. I've thought better of that and I'm going to go after Finland instead. So we're going to take the battleship and cruiser bombardment and the infantry and the artillery from England into Finland and go after those 2 infantry units there. Decided that was way too much defense there for the Germans to go after Karelia right now. So anyway, not going to do that right now. So, all right, so I'll set that battle up real quick. So I'm not going to set that up on the battle board since there's just 2 land units each on there. So for the bombardment, we've got 1 red hit die for the battleship, 1 blue hit die for the cruiser, and 2 green hit die for the infantry and artillery promoted. Or excuse me, the infantry promoted. All right, looking for 2 hits here, looking for 2 hits. And 2 misses and 2 hits. 1 green and 1 red hit. So the 2 infantry units in Finland have been eliminated, but they do get to fire back. So 2 green hit die will roll with a return fire. If they get 2 hits, then I don't take the territory. And 1 hit. So just enough. So I'll lose an infantry as well. So I'll take Finland with 1 artillery unit. Great Britain will go up from 29 to 30. The Germans will go down from 43 to 42. So I'll put a roundel on Finland and make that UK's. All right, so for the next battle, we have in C Zone 8, we've got 1 bomber at 4. We've got 1 destroyer at 2 and 1 fighter at 3. Going up against a battleship and submarine of the Germans. Alright, so here's the roll for the UK right now, the bomber, the destroyer, and the fighter. And there's 2 hits. So I assume No Limit will take a loss on the battleship, a loss on the submarine and a hit on the battleship. All right, so the battleship and the sub will get to return fire. 1 red hit die for the battleship, 1 black hit die for the submarine, attacking at 1, or defending at 1. All right. So here is the defense roll for this for the Germans. And 1 hit. The battleship hit. The sub did not. So I will lose a fighter. I will lose the destroyer in that. Take him off. So we still have a bomber and a fighter going after the battleship. So 1 red hit die, 1 blue hit die. Going after the battleship, needing 1 hit. And the red dice did hit. Red die did hit. So the battleship has been destroyed, but it does get to fire back. 1 red hit die by itself, going after a fighter and a bomber. And it did return fire and hit, so I will lose a fighter. So I lost a fighter and a destroyer in that, but he lost a sub and a battleship. That bomber will return back to jolly old England. No Limit. All right.